possibility. Unicorn Phoenix, they had a really good day 2 last week. In week 2, ended up picking up 2 chicken dinners to come home strong. They might need to do the same thing again here for week 3.
Yeah, I mean, that's the one sticking point, isn't it? That everyone's looking at the fact that Unicorn Phoenix, they're at the top overall for PB. They weren't the best overall. I don't know. I like the fact, though, that it does give us the opportunity for comebacks. Unicorn Phoenix probably don't like it, but at least as a viewer, I think it's good. And if they're going to play like that, Xenox, maybe they don't deserve to win the season. Good driving from Van and HungVo. Overall, though, I mean, it's been phenomenal from Unicorn Phoenix. They've won 2 weeks in a row. And look, they're still within the discussion for a win here this week, but they'd kind of need to come back from behind, similar to what you spoke to at the start of, last week, right? Where they didn't have a great day on day 1, but they came back and won a couple on day 2. And that's very much in the realms of possibility for Unicorn Phoenix. Do have Jiaoman down on the floor right now for MS Chonburi, and so he's going to need a little bit of backup. He's going to need a little bit of assistance. You're starting to see those MSC members rotating their way across. Rogue is not able to win the duel against Belmoth, and now that's 2 of them on the ground. A decent start to the day for Sharper Esports and for MS Chonburi, who have been struggling in this tournament a little bit. Yeah. It is not the start that they were looking for.
Yeah, Sharper especially. 10th in week 1, 11th in week 2, currently last here in week 3. A team with somewhat decent expectations, probably not, say, win-it-all expectations, but to do well, maybe. Winners. Basically, if any of those 6 can find a second, it suddenly then means that top 4 for the week is suddenly going to look very realistic, which, 4th onwards is $11,000 for 4th, and it just keeps going up from there, right? So there's a lot on the line there for those teams that have already found a win on day number 1 yesterday, as we finally can now see our phase 2 circle shift and see how this is going to play out for us. And, well, it is a hard shift to a degree. Jordan, technically down to the south, probably a little bit boring in a sense. We do see this area a bit more often than we do, say, a Kameshki kind of circle or out towards Lipovka.
Yeah, it has been a little bit more of a passive start to the day, hasn't it? With only the 2 kills coming through onto the MSC members. Now, though, is when it's going to start to get a little bit busier. Ronon has managed to find a knock onto one of the game home players, and that looks like it'll be a relatively difficult res to find onto Godnew. I'm seeing some smokes primed by Game Home, but I think they're a little bit too far away, and obviously Fury have got all the angles that they need. So Godnew will be finished off. There's a kill on the board for Fury to start the day. Ykikamucow will need to skedaddle. It looks like he'll get out relatively comfortably. I'm watching rotations on the minimap here as well. PUBG Esports map, if you are interested in seeing all of that.
Ooh, nice,
Simon with a nice seat swap does get rid of 1, and that's important. It's attack all around, losing a player. BN United as well. Some of the top competitors here in week number 3 already suffering losses in the very first game of the day.
Yeah, 3rd and 6th respectively, or the week 3 leaderboard, fighting it out early. Of course, both have already found a chicken dinner yesterday. Flory, see what he can find. Disgusting was knocked, by the way, during that commotion. That was from the Balti man in Ronon, who has been by far and away the deadliest player in APAC with a Balti here for PCS 5 APAC. No contest at all. North of Mansion we go, though. Colony on the rotation, pushing towards Eagle 365. And the compound outside of Mansion, Jekzy headshot on the Carlbs, and there's the follow-up as well. A quick double for Jekzy for Eagle 365, a team that had so much promise coming into this event, kind of let themselves down a little bit, but maybe they can finish strong here in week 3.
Man, it has really started to pop off, hasn't it? It sort of spoke about how it was a little bit of a slower start to the game, but as soon as these rotations came in for phase 2, it has gone bananas. 56 left alive, Colony down to Alec, who's 1 shot away from death, 1 HP in fact. Couldn't really get much worse for Colony, so that's a rather ill-fated rotation that they've made just to the northern side of Mansion. Running into Eagle 365, 36 Cartel in there as well, though they didn't manage to find any kills. They may still be able to pick up the scraps onto Alec, and it would be a nice day for 36C to, if they were able to make themselves up into the top 8 once again, I think that's a really respectable performance from them. That was what they were able to achieve in week number 1. They got a top 8 placing, and if they could do that in 2 out of the 3 weeks, I'd say that's really, really good for the 2nd seed from the Oceanic region.
Well, for Balnham United, down to 3 players remaining. They're on the move now. They rotate once again. They already lost Simon and Julio with a headshot, knocked down onto Goldace. The quick follow as well from Julio now means Balnham United down to just the duo of Youngby and Zest. Not the ideal start to the final play day for BN United. Of course, still fighting tooth and nail for that top spot overall on the prize money standings. Currently $16,000 behind Unicorn Phoenix. They would like that top spot. Why not? It would be nice to be crowned winners. Technically don't need it though, Jordan, for being United. If they don't win, they will be the best Vietnam team going through. So they will be definitely going to PGC, regardless of really what happens tonight, but still nice to fight for first.
Yeah, I mean, I think at this point in time, you know, that extra money is quite a big deal still. You'd be quite keen and eager to pick that one up, not to mention the momentum that would then help you to roll into PGC. I think it's obviously a big ask from teams from this region to sort of perform on an international stage amongst some of the greats, right? But we have seen it before. We've seen teams do reasonably well, and we're certainly hoping to do so again. And I think every little advantage that you can get for any one of these teams is going to be something that they will be able to revel in heading into PGC. But for now, obviously, it's focusing on what happens here in PCS 5 and ensuring that they do manage to qualify for PGC as well. Code on your screens, by the way, for those of you that might have tabbed away from the stream for a moment. Come pick that one up pretty quickly. Have to look and see how the rest of this game does play out as well. Colony, the first team eliminated. MSC not looking too crash hot at the moment with only 2 alive. Same for BN United and Game Home are the only team, aside from the aforementioned, that have actually suffered a loss so far in the first match of the evening. So still a lot of very healthy teams, a lot of teams that have set themselves up nicely in central compounds as well. I'm looking at the likes of Made in Thailand, Unicorn Phoenix, Fury are probably the trifecta. I want to almost say they're like the Bermuda Triangle of this circle out of that compound and made to move. Day Trade headed in the direction of Game Home, so a 4-on-3 for Day Trade here. If they can start things off nicely, get that initial knock, they're going to put themselves in a fantastic spot to just take over control of Bunnings.
Oh, a bit of damage onto both Glorious and Disgusting with that one nade. This is the thing though, right? It's easy to sit back and say a team's inside of a circle in a compound position. Oh, they're surely in the best spot, but it's not that difficult to see a team send it in, crash, find a couple of knocks, and then suddenly you get overwhelmed on your building. So teams that are outside of the zone around Phase 3, Phase 4, not necessarily always to be counted out. It's too early on at that point and really does sort of come down to how they want to play it from there. Norins, though, with a bit of a wasteful nade, not a whole lot of information to go off of there, and understanding that Game Home are just going to sit inside of the building. They don't need to aggress, they don't need to come out just yet. They're in the circle. Speaking of aggressing though, 36 Cartel onto the duo of Bownham United. Zest and YungBee just absolutely slaughter 36 Cartel, mostly YungBee. And unfortunately for the Oceanic team, they are sent back to the lobby very early on here for the first game of the night. Well,
that's not exactly where they wanted to send it in the end. This nade though doesn't quite go deep enough to really trouble YungBee. But Seiryu definitely have the information now that there is going to be a team inside of this little dip, and BN United, I don't think that 36 Cartel is going to be the first team that they'll have to deal with headed in their direction. Seiryu, as of yet, have not decided to push the issue. They're more than happy to take control of the trenches right here, but they have teams behind them that they have to focus on first. CERBERUS starting to rotate their way in, and this little defilade, this little hill that Seiryu is playing on is going to be a big talking point. By the way, Jayers just gets a double knock with a grenade onto ArkAngel Predator, and there's another one landed right on top of AljnBOTz. Well done from Jayers. Hits the hoop, and Glooms comes in to gobbling up all that loot.
Some nice kill points there for Attack all around, and they, of course, could come back later on in the night and help them out. Seiryu Esports got to be careful here. Zemeshamburi just peppering away in this position. CERBERUS Esports as well, just above them. Haisaki knocked down. That's another nade or another smoke. It was a nade that actually was just rolling down the top of the bunker. This is happening at the moment, as you can see on your screen, over towards the very far east, far south of Mansion. 4 seconds until Phase 5. Can Fury find another feed here on their position? Somewhat they do. It's not necessarily a hard feed, as it's not technically right on top of them, Jordan, but they're the only compound remaining inside of the Phase 5 circle as CERBERUS and Seiryu Esports go toe-to-toe. How has been eliminated. HiMax is now knocked down as well. dNial, beautiful angle, holding, nice shot onto FAP, and suddenly it's falling apart for CERBERUS. They need to go for the revives, and they do that. HiMax is going to be able to get picked back up, and now they go for the revive onto FAP.
Niall's just going to ignore the reses on his own side. He's the only one left up here for Seiryu. He's going to try and make the hero play. He's going to push toward that smoke, but time is of the essence. HiMax is starting to push in his direction. Info is there. And eventually, the shots are as well. Seiryu will drop, Cerberus will survive, but how easily it's going to go for them from here remains to be seen. We'll jump back over to Mansion, where there is that exchange happening between Made in Thailand and Eagle365. Esquilusia has found himself inside of the building that Eagle365 is holding, but a shot from Vandal9 puts him down. Duckmans and Danawa still trying to survive here, but Eagle365 also have 2 available, and they're running up and down all over the place on the stairs. Jekzy on the balcony catches Duckmans. And that is down to just the last player left alive for Made in Thailand. This is mutually assured destruction if we want to bring that one back into the discussion, Xenox.
Not necessarily.
However, Eagle365, I thought they might have lost more players than they did. Those reses might well be possible.
Yeah, that's no mutual destruction at all. It's just a one-way destruction. Maximus knocked down. Should get finished off here. Unicorn Phoenix, they do like to fight and have a tussle early on, but they've already lost Van, they already lost that blue still. The damage has now been inflicted onto Sharper Esports. It's only Tinoy that remains, but for how much longer is he really going to be able to survive? Gets the heal off, the first aid kit is successful, but not for much longer. Goes down to Chu. And the duo for Unicorn Phoenix can live to fight another day. 21.5 minutes gone here for the first game of the night, and we're down to just 28 players alive as Fury and Game Home doing battle in the kill feed. Well, that did not last very all. So quick, we couldn't even really go over there and have a look at it. Fury just wipe out Game Home as we keep an eye on this battle between the duo of BN United and Cerberus pushing onto their position.
I think that was Fury sort of helping Day Trade out a little bit because Game Home have now obviously had to make way for Day Trade, who got themselves a kill in that exchange as well. BN United are still holding strong. Zest is on the floor, but Young B is going to get himself a med pack off. He's going to try and do as much damage as he possibly can to Cerberus before they eventually do overrun him. I don't think it's a question of whether or not he wins this. It's just a question of how many he can take down with him. A 1-on-4, a bit too much to ask for. And Salalzi will finish it off for Cerberus, ensuring that they keep 4 players alive and start to solidify their position out toward the eastern side of the map. They're looking like they're in a solid spot with 4 alive. Fury's got 4 alive as well. And the other teams to mention, Eagle365 and Attack All Around, though Attack All Around will need to ensure that they make that res happen. And they've lost another one, so Gems down on the floor as well, means that Attack All Around may well be down to just 1 or 2 players, depending on how these reses go. Luckily, they get the nade on the HyunGbo ditch, which will help out, but Insight is on the move. He's making a bit of a risky play. This is ballsy,
only got 1.
But it could work out massively if that nade lands.
He's only got the 1, though, so he can't follow it up. Oh, it's beautiful, too. Oh. It's absolutely gorgeous. Just a little bit. Oh, if he had more, he would have been able to really bombard this area. I think actually Fury could have wiped out Attack All Around. Eagle365 may just do that though as they come in from the north side. You can actually see the battlefield that these players are actually playing on though, Jordan. Extremely open space. That's why we're down to just 5 teams remaining. And indeed, Chibiritt came in from behind, got the kill onto JS. That sends Attack All Around out. In 6th place, down to our final 5 teams remaining. Fury, Daytrade, Eagle365, Cerberus, and Easy Esports. One thing they all have in common, though, none of them have found a win so far this week, as Ykikamucow just put some hot shots there, and suddenly Fury looking very good here in Phase 6 with all 4 players up, but so is Eagle365, and so is Cerberus.
Holy cow is right, Xenox. He was helped out by Ronon, though. But that said, the algorithm seems to be favoring Eagle365 just a little bit, and you have to remember, Cerberus also has 4 in the discussion. Chibiritt, having been knocked, is going to be a focal point now for Eagle365, needing to ensure that they get him back up. And Cerberus obviously having to worry about Easy Esports to their side as well. Have a little bit more to think about than the other 2 teams in this discussion. That said, a couple of knocks make it easier for Cerberus. Insight continues to put in work against Eagle365, really harassing them on their way in. And a kill is finally confirmed by Fury. It's courtesy of Fludd getting rid of Hanzyy, which puts Eagle365 down to 3. This is certainly looking like it's going to be Fury, maybe Cerberus in that discussion as well, but it would be a fantastic start to the final game of competition for Fury if they could, you know, just springboard off of a win in Game 1. You know, might be a fantastic, really exciting final day from them.
Cerberus looking very good as well on the complete other side of the circle. The teams that have been sort of caught in the middle, in the crosshair, have been taken out pretty quickly. It may just happen to Easy Esports. Eagle365 far up to the north side. They haven't really been too engaged in the conflict. that is concerning itself with these three teams down to the south. Nade out from shinV. Still has two more. And he's going to roll, and he's going to at least force Bat back just a little bit. Back over to the other pickup truck. 5 seconds until phase 7, though. And I don't think much is going to change too much, really. The teams are just going to have to just push that a little bit closer. Although, that is a hard shift away from Fury. That's as bad a circle as they could have asked for.
Yeah, and especially considering the terrain that is around them and the terrain that's in front of them as well. There's really not a lot of cover for them at all. It's a couple of mounds, a couple of deflates here, but look at how flat this terrain is. What are the options now for Fury? I mean, do you sort of think about the enemy that you know and find that preferable to the enemy that you don't, and then send it in the direction of Eagle365, recognizing, of course, that you've already gotten a kill onto one of those players, so it would be a 3 versus 4. Do you try to send it a little bit further toward the center, at which point you risk putting yourself in a sandwich? I suspect Fury's going to head in the direction of Eagle365 here. If they can wipe them out, then obviously Eagle365 become no longer a factor, but sometime proven incorrect. They're just going to head straight into the center.
Look how open it is.
Yeah, there is so little room to work with here, but there is that nice defilade all around them. They've got some smokes to set up. My only worry here, though, Xenox, is that they have put themselves essentially in a sandwich between CERBERUS and Eagle365, so they're going to have to work hard to get rid of one of those sides and just really relieve a lot of that pressure.
Yeah, I agree with you there. If Cerberus deal with Esports quickly, then push up, look over, they should be able to deal with Fury as well. The good thing about Fury's position, though, right now, of course, is that they are now able to actually get onto Eagle365. They're getting to work pretty quickly, knock down onto Jekzy, but it's that worry about what happens when Cerberus now makes the move onto Fury's position. They're going to be able to see them from quite a distance away. Chibiritt also putting up a pretty valiant effort here, along with Vandal9, to just stay alive and just force Fury to continue to use a lot of utility. In fact, throws a nade back, gets the knockdown onto Fludd. Now Fury have to go into defensive mode here, as Cerberus is kind of starting to clean up Esports. We can't really forget about this fight either. Still 4 players alive for Cerberus. They will have to start moving soon, though. That blue is doing just that.
Yeah, not really sure what happened to Ronon, by the way. I saw him driving around inside of the blue.
Oh,
Fludd
no.
gets re-knocked straight away after getting picked back up. Cerberus now have gotten rid of Esports, and Fludd looks like he's been left for dead. I think that's just a really unfortunate case of timing for Fury, where Ronon might have disconnected or something. I can't imagine he spends that much time driving around in the blue if he had anything to say about it. He just went down to the zone and then died in the zone right as Fury was pushing their way onto Eagle365. So it seems like it's all come unstuck for Fury in the first game, despite the fact that it was looking so good for them. Now it's on to Inside and Ykikamucow, and I'd say they'll probably just try to keep their heads down a little bit for now and see what Cerberus and Eagle365 have to say to one another.
Yeah, and if they have Ronon there, you have to wonder maybe they can kind of clear up Eagle365 that little bit earlier. That's the goal, right? You deal with Eagle365 in a rather quick manner, then you sort of reposition for Cerberus, and I think then Fury find themselves in a pretty good spot to actually go on and win the game. Now I'm kind of starting to look at Cerberus. 4 players up, the only team that's completely healthy, good part of the zone as well, inside of the circle. They can wrap north, or they can pressure the team in the center, or at least to the south now for Fury. So I think Cerberus probably in the best position. Eagle365, somehow with even still 3 players alive, is just crazy to me, Jordan. It felt like they were getting completely annihilated by Fury, and yet they were able to sort of just hold on and really just go into their shells a little bit, use those smokes. Nice knockdown from Ykikamucow onto Chibiritt, though, and that's just going to put a halt into the plans of Eagle365. Cerberus taking this rather slow, though. They're not necessarily engaging on these shots and looking to third party. They're just playing position.
Yeah, I might have thought that that would put a bit of a wind in the sails of Cerberus and make them try to push toward Eagle365. They'd be safe in the knowledge that there's only a couple of players that could shoot back in their direction, but I suppose they're a bit preoccupied with what Fury might be doing if Cerberus decides to push into Eagle365. And they're not in a position where they necessarily have to make too many moves. They've got a really solid spot here. They've got a nice bowl to play in. Eagle365 is slowly but surely being pushed in by that zone, and inevitably they're going to start copping shots from Fury. So I don't think there's that much onus really on Cerberus to make a move just yet.
Isaki with the close position next to Eagle365. They do not have a clue either. Almost into phase 9. For a game I thought would have ended a lot earlier, this is definitely taking its time. I think when you look at the way the Cerberus are playing it, though, they're basically dictating the way that this game is going to finish. 4 players up, taking it slow and methodical. And if they can find the majority of the kills here, maybe 4th or 5th place could be on the cards heading into the final 5 games. Insight, Ykikamucow, the duo for Fury. They're the aggressors in this situation. They're the ones running around trying to fire shots, trying to throw nades, trying to find a couple of knocks. CERBERUS are literally playing the snake game despite having the 4 players up.
Ykikamucow still continuing to pepper shots in their direction. Eagle 365.
Oh my God.
They just keep on crawling, don't they? Haven't taken the backpacks off, so not quite the throwback to the early days of PUBG, but Seiryu Esports, 9 kills on the board, Fury 10. I can understand why Eagle 365 is trying to keep their heads down. Last vestiges of smokes being thrown out by all these teams as well. There's Heysaki without a backpack. And now you're starting to see a few of them get tossed on the ground for both sides. So it's gotten to that point in the game.
Yeah, and full credit to Fury, the way they've sort of played this one out. It's a rough one when those sort of things happen, and Ykikamucow and Insight have not panicked in this situation. They almost need Eagle 365 to really start to aggress onto CERBERUS, but it's gone the other way. Sololzy with the opening knock on the Vandal9. Cow gets involved though. At least 2 more kills do go the way of Fury, but the blue zone catches up.